Mr. Monchito Ibrahim.
Thank you once again, Monique. Hopefully nakapag-glance na itong ating mga audience ngayon. Ayan, nakikita ko na yung slide ko. Okay. So, thank you for rejoining us. For some of you, mga 1 o'clock kanina, ang dami na, hundreds na. But I think yung mga 1,000 pa hindi mabalik from lunch. I hope they're having a good lunch. But anyway, isang magandang hapon sa inyong lahat, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm actually going to present is, basically the core competencies na hinahanap ngayon ng mga sought after by most employers, okay? And hindi ako mag-ooperate ng slide ko, so I don't know who is actually operating it. So magbibigay na lang ako ng cue. Okay. Today marks the start or the third day, the last day of the 3-day virtual 19th Youth Congress on Information Technology. It could not have been launched at a more opportune time. The rationale of the sorry. At dahil nagka-brown out dito kanina, nagkagulo-gulo yung aking mga what's this? Yeah. Let me do that once again. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the session 2 of the day 3 of the 2021 Y4IT Congress. This session is the second of 2 sessions focused on career development. Can I have this next slide, please? I'm sure a lot of you are in your last year in college and will also be joining the multitude of people who will actually be hunting for jobs after graduation. Medyo yun. Hindi ko alam kung anong ginawa ng brownout kanina. So in the next 20 minutes, I will actually try to walk you through some of the critical considerations most employers will be looking for from job applicants. A little bit about myself. I'm actually from a very remote town of Pualas, located in the boondocks of the province of Lana del Sur. I am a product of both the public and private school systems. When I was still in elementary and high school, I had to survive all the biases thrown at me primarily because I am a Muslim and studying in mostly Christian communities who were actually not used to living with people of different religions. When I came to Manila for college, I had even worse situations because, not just because of my religion, but primarily because I was a provinciano, galing sa Mindanao, Bisaya ang diction, okay? And a lot of people, pag nagsasalita ako, behind my back, nagtatawanan sila. But you know what? These are the very same reasons that motivated me to excel and strive to be better than everyone. Again, when I was job hunting after college, I had to overcome new prejudices as I was not a graduate of an Ivy League school. Ateneo, UP, LaSalle, okay. Nor did I have really good grades. 20% ng mga grades ko, well, either pasang-awa or I had several failing grades as well. But you know what? Good grades or graduating with Latin honors, or being a graduate of a good school are just 3 of the minor things employers would actually be looking for. Can I have slide 3, please? More importantly, they will have their eyes on the competencies they will be looking for. And what do we mean by competency? It is actually the knowledge, skills, and behavioral attributes for acceptable job performance. Next slide, please. What do we mean by knowledge? These are actually the facts, information, and skills acquired by a person through experience and education. So most of the things that we've learned from school is actually part of knowledge. What about skills? Skills refer to the technical and practical proficiencies required to actually perform a job. Next slide, please. Now, when we talk of behavioral attributes, these are actually personality characteristics that are key to successful job performance. In this presentation, we will actually be talking of the most important competencies and attributes that employers would usually look for from applicants. They will usually ask interview questions that would elicit answers that would indicate if the person being interviewed would possess these competencies and attributes. Next slide, please. Let's start with the first one, effective communication skills. You know what? Alam nyo, if there is one thing that really helped me in the early days of my career, it's actually my ability to speak in English, being able to actually communicate in English. And it took me quite a while para ma-perfect. Hindi naman ma-perfect. Hanggang ngayon, may mga mali pa rin akong grammars. Okay? Huwag niyo masyadong intindihin yung grammars. Just keep on talking speaking in English. Eventually, makikita nyo, marirealize nyo, okay, may mga kailangan kayong i-correct na mga mali doon. Next slide, please. And it is actually not just about speaking skills. You also need to develop proficiency in writing and presenting. All in English, because that is actually the language of business. Practice active listening and non-verbal communication skills. Open-mindedness, yung hindi kayo judgmental, bawal ang judgmental, can actually help you develop the art of active listening. Next slide, please. The next skill is collaboration skills. No man is an island, sabi nga nila. We all need to work with others. We need to be seen as a team person. Next slide, please. And when we talk of collaboration, it is actually all about teamwork, exchange of information, providing inspiration to others, and getting inspirations as well from others, sharing, building a working and caring team, developing effective interpersonal skills, building trust, helping one another, and moving towards the same goal. You have to be able to interact with people effectively, willing and able to share as well as receive information. Cooperate within the group and across groups. You need to support group decisions and put your own group goals ahead of your own goals. Hindi pwede yung sasabihin nyo, ay, sila nag-decide yan eh. Wala akong pakialam dyan. Hindi ako may kasalanan yan. Okay? Next slide, please. The next skill is actually problem solving. And this is very, very critical. Next slide, please. You will actually be expected to handle difficult or unexpected situations in the workplace, as well as complex business challenges. Problem-solving skills will always be valued by employers. Analytical thinking is actually a subset of critical thinking. Analytical thinking is the process of breaking down complex information or comprehensive data into fundamental parts of basic principle or basic principles. Ito yung hinihimay nyo muna yung bago nyo maintindihan. Critical thinking, on the other hand, is the mental process of carefully evaluating information and determining how to interpret it in order to actually make a sound judgment. Problem solving would also involve creativity, which is the ability to use imagination to generate new ideas. All of these skills should allow you to make a decision as to which solution would actually be the best to solve a problem. At yan, kailangan practicein nyo yan dahil araw-araw, habang nandoon kayo sa trabaho, okay, araw-araw you're actually going to be expected to be solving problems for the organization. Next slide, please. This one is actually self-management skills. And this is actually going to be about you, okay? Next slide, please. This would mostly involve managing yourself. Time management is all about knowing the scope of each of your activities for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year, and dividing your time appropriately to finish them within the time allotted. Punctuality, very, very important. At sakit ito ng karamihan ng mga Pilipino. Punctuality is being there before the agreed time. Pag sinabing 8 o'clock, okay, punctuality is actually not about being there on time, 8 o'clock. Punctuality is actually being there before 8 o'clock, 5 to 8, 10 to 8, or 15 minutes before 8. This skill would actually involve the ability to plan ahead, organize, and being able to prioritize those activities that are very, very critical to your job or your project. Next slide, please. Digital skills. Karamihan sa inyo, IT students, graduating IT students. Okay, next slide, please. Being IT graduates, you are all expected to be skilled in the use of all basic digital productivity tools. But it usually go beyond those tools. You will be expected to use digital tools to search, research, and manage information, project collaboration, and manipulate digital documents. You will also be expected to exercise digital etiquette and ensure security and privacy are well kept in your workplace. Okay. Next slide. Learning ability skills. Because, you know what? Sa magiging trabaho nyo, okay, graduate kayo, BSIT, BSCS, BSIS, whatever, okay. Tingin ko yan, mga 20% lang. You were actually taught just the basic. 80%, you will actually have to learn while in the workplace, yung mga training na bibigyan ng company. But I'm telling you now, about 50% of the things that you need to learn para magawa nyo yung trabaho nyo, you will have to learn by yourself. Okay? Most of the knowledge you actually got while in college basically just provide you, like I said, the basics and the fundamentals. Everything else will have to be learned while on the job. This would mean that your job would actually involve continuous learning, either provided by the company or learning new skills on your own. This will need for you to be adaptable to changing situations in the workplace, which means being able to rapidly learn new skills and behaviors in response to changing circumstances. Kung hindi, magiging irrelevant kayo doon sa opisina niyo. Next slide, please. Next slide is about work ethics. Next slide, please. Aside from hard work, you will be expected to always practice professionalism, integrity, honesty, fairness, accountability, initiative, okay, and responsibility. Yung initiative, very, very important yan, okay? Because we've always, magmula nung bata tayo, hanggang nung nag-grade school tayo, hanggang nung high school tayo, hanggat hindi sinasabi ni teacher na gawin mo to, actually, for most of us, hindi natin ginagawa. O hanggat hindi sinasabi ng nanay natin na gawin mo to, hindi tayo kikilos. But in the actual workplace, okay, you're actually expected to have self-initiative, okay? Go the extra mile. Once you have completed the work that have been assigned to you, ask if there's anything else you can actually do. And you have to pay close attention to detail, accuracy, and completeness. Next slide, please. Positive attitude. Next slide, please. Always thinking positive, using the power of the smile in any situation, motivating and encouraging people around you with the positive words, it actually brings optimism in your life. Your workplace that makes it easier for everyone to avoid worries and negative thinking. So always fill your mind with positive thoughts and be nice to other people. Either yung kasamahan mo sa trabaho, outside of your work, to everyone. Next slide, please. Positive attitude. Remember, positive-minded people will always look at this glass as half full. In contrast, negative-minded people will always look at this as half empty. If you were here during the first day, the other day, no, Tuesday, okay, one of our speakers, Earl Valencia, was actually talking about, building a network. But it has to be a network of people who can actually help you achieve your goals, okay? Ang iiwasan nyo dyan would actually be people who are Not only toxic, negative, minded people, okay, but toxic people as well. So yun yung mga iiwasan nyo dyan. Next slide, please. Leadership skills. Next slide. When you practice leadership, you do not have to be a leader to actually show leadership skills. Leadership is about action, not position. Okay? Next slide, please. So if you are not yet a leader, how then can you show your leadership skills? First, we need to actually go back to having a positive attitude. The words that you speak and the emotions that you display will always impact the people around you. So make sure you only share positive vibes. Other leadership skills that you're expected to have, in addition to the ones on the slide, would be project management skills and group and meeting facilitation skills. Okay? And itong last na sinabi ko, group, yung facilitation skills, even 1 week ka pa lang doon sa trabaho mo, 1 month ka pa lang doon sa trabaho mo, expect mo yan. You will actually be asked to lead a meeting, facilitate a meeting. Next slide, please. In this slide, we're actually going to be talking of, I think, one of the most important common sense. Important is attributes that we need to have. And ito tandaan nyo, every company, yung mga recruiters, yung mga nag-i-interview, okay, iisa ang pinaka-ayaw nila mangyari, mahaluhan sila ng tanga. Okay? Common sense. I would say that this is actually one of the most critical attributes that every employer would actually be looking for. Next slide, please. Common sense is sound, practical judgment concerning everyday matters, or a basic ability to perceive, understand, and judge in a manner that is actually shared by nearly everyone. Common sense can be taught to some extent, but it is largely built around our past experiences. Okay? So, tandaan nyo yan. Pinakaiiwasan ng mga kumpanya ay mahaluhan sila ng tanga at makapag-recruit sila ng tanga. Okay? Next slide, please. In closing, I would like to actually share with you a quote from Zig Ziglar that says, and I quote, "It is your attitude It is your attitude, not your aptitude, that will actually determine your altitude." Ulitin ko yun. It is your attitude, not your aptitude, that will determine your altitude. Okay? You do not have to be an honor graduate in order for you to have a successful career. It is all about having the right attitude, determination, and willingness to act that will actually give you success. Our attitudes will shape our values, guide us in defining our goals, and influence our behavior. It is our attitude that will actually determine our outlook in all situations and will therefore shape our destiny. So with that, next slide, please. I hope you've learned a bit from my presentation. Thank you for your attention. If you need more coaching on how to get your first job, you may actually email me at these email addresses. Last year, a lot of the Y4IT participants contacted me asking for advice on how they can actually land their first job. And from the thank you messages that I got after some time, I think I was able to help many of them. But I have to tell you this as well, that many did not even respond to my email asking them to send me a list of all their strengths. Tataka ako, ano ito? Ihahanapan ko kayo ng trabaho? Okay? If you are not ready to help yourself, please do not bother to ask for my advice. Enjoy the rest of the day. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, sir, so much, Sir Mon.